Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command, World War II, World at War, a new game out by Fury Software and published by Matrix and Slitherine Games. This is part 10 of a Let's Play series that we're conducting as the Axis powers, and so far things aren't going all that great. Things got off to a quick and good start, I think, for us. We were able to conquer Poland, Denmark, Norway, France, Belgium, Holland, and Luxembourg in pretty quick order, and Yugoslavia is on the edge of defeat right now, with Greece probably not too far beyond that. But the challenge here is that in Asia, things have gone to shit. The Chinese have counterattacked. Peking has fallen in the north of China. Japanese advances in the south are heartening, but we've kind of hit a snag and aren't able to advance on Chongqing from the south. We feel like we're fighting the terrain more than we are the Chinese, and I don't know what to do from here. We're rapidly approaching a eventual inclusion of the USSR and the United States into this war, and I feel like we've got a bunch of missed opportunities and things we need to be doing as the Axis, but I'm not quite sure what to do at this stage. The video you're about to see was taken from a live stream from a couple of days ago, so I'm just going to jump back in and we'll kind of witness as I try and play through this and figure out what to do as the Axis, but things are somewhat challenging at the moment. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts below as always, and I'll catch you guys at the end. So the British winning the war. If we can't knock the UK out by an invasion of the British Isles, then we must seek an alternate route to victory. One option would be invade the USSR. Invade them in the spring to summer, build up force in the east ready to invade the USSR, ideally invading when the USSR is close to 90% mobilization and the weather is good. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, but, you know, that's what the game's telling me to do. Alright, let's... Sorry, Italy, I think Germany's going to get Yugoslavia. I don't think there's any feasible way for you to get your troops up to... Oh, you can get them to Belgrade. Okay, so Italy is going to get Yugoslavia. What? There you go. Okay. So we'll try and get them south out of this weather here. The snowflakes prevents them from operating. Meanwhile, those Greek troops up near Skopje, or however you pronounce that, the Italians can bomb, though. Surprisingly enough, they can't really do anything. Alright, well, at any event, these soldiers... Oh wait, they should be gone there. There we go. Well, good lord, I guess the Bulgarian troops are... Or were they Bulgarian or Romanian troops are not all that bad. Thessalonica in Greece has been taken. These Greek soldiers have been cut off. Let's reinforce this fighter unit up to full strength. Meanwhile, we'll move these guys to the border. The one thing is with all these guys joining the Axis, it makes the front a lot larger, which makes it harder for the Russians to defend, but it also makes it harder for us to have like a concentration of force. Alright, so northern Greece has fallen, and now we just have to drive into the south. Okay. Oh wait, there's still one more Greek army unit up there. But it is cut off. And we have German armor that'll probably be in reach in a turn. Meanwhile, I don't feel like taking more I don't know. Can you do damage here? Damage to the city, I guess. I'm just wondering, like, is there any point ever to bombarding troops? Because we're taking a lot of damage. And not necessarily doing a lot. I mean, I'm sure their morale sucks. It does. It's 35%. The readiness is low. But, I guess I would have hoped for more. Those are expensive bombardment missions. These guys are going to reinforce. And the British Air Force unit is gone. Very nice. That armor unit's going to wreck us in a turn. Trying to destroy that anti-tank unit here in the desert. Hey, wow, the soldiers in Khartoum's supply is actually dropping. We'll keep reinforcing these soldiers in East Africa, as well as these troops in Addis Ababa. And Italy should get a nice little income boost next turn also, because they're going to get credit for taking Yugoslavia because their soldiers are in the capital there, so they'll get to plunder the capital. Meanwhile, these soldiers are moving into position. At least we saved some money. We didn't operationally move all these guys. We are going to want to upgrade them probably before the invasion, though. What is it, right? Is it December? So we should have a few turns before we'd even want to invade the USSR. We are going to operate these guys. We'll make them Army Group North, I guess. We'll have 2 armored units here to drive up this road towards Smolensk, or maybe Brest-Litovsk will be the road. Alright. Alright, so these guys reinforce max. We have to spend a shit ton of money on our navy to fix it up. I don't know where the Royal Navy went, but they didn't attack our battleship there, so that's a plus. Meanwhile, these subs, I guess, will move through the channel to get out to sea. Seems like the sound move. Get all these naval forces up to strength. We'll have these guys just jump right on the convoy routes. So we've got northern convoy routes, the Canadian convoy routes. These subs are on it. Whatever this convoy route is down here. We've got other subs, and we've got additional subs reinforcing in France, and we'll have the surface fleet out before too long as well. Meanwhile, our Air Force is going to lose a lot of experience, but we need to reinforce those fighter units. Lose 60% of their experience, dear lord. Can we upgrade these guys? Naval weaponry, ground attack weaponry. Alright, so those Stukas will upgrade. And I think we'll move these headquarters toward the frontier. These headquarter units are gonna, or these garrison units are gonna start advancing into Yugoslavia, because we're going to need them to deal with, inevitably, partisans and other uprisings and the troublesome spots of Yugoslavia. Meanwhile, back to the Chinese theater, where Peking has fallen. Let's advance north along this line here first. Alright, you guys reinforce. Okay. Alright. Alright, so Vietnam is now garrisoned. Like, how... God damn it. I just want to move troops along this roadway. Fuck China's terrain. Alright. Let's move these guys to this roadway, and then they're going to advance up this road. Because these guys are going to pull back. Actually, not going to launch any attacks this turn. We'll upgrade those fighters. And we'll upgrade those bombers. Meanwhile, damn you, defensive artillery. Moving some of those garrison units in. There we go. Alright, so that Chinese unit was destroyed. There's no reason not to advance into the heartland of China at this point. Alright, so drove this Chinese unit back, destroyed a Chinese unit over here. Casualties on them are at least heavy. I guess that's my one solace. Yeah. So, research. Japanese research. How's it going? Where are you at? Not quite to the maximum, so... Alright, so we'll research infantry weapons. And I think we'll end the turn there. Maybe not, actually. Let's see here. Chits. Yeah, no one has any diplomatic chits. So we're just going to advance to 1941. Yeah, so there definitely is a sort of historical feel to events and activities. Wait, diplomatic success in the U.S.? I didn't even know I was investing there. So there's a lot of historical events that will help drive sort of somewhat historical invasions and activities. But in addition to that, it's not strictly, based off that. In addition to that, the map, while it's hex-based, does have geography that sort of limits or funnels your invasion routes through historical pathways. And as a result of that, you see a lot of sort of historical outcomes because there are real reasons, there are real geographic reasons for things to occur the way that they do. And, that is an interesting element of this. I think, in fighting China, I feel like as much as I'm fighting China, I'm also fighting the terrain, which if you really do read about the war, in many cases that was the case. Maybe less so along the plains of China when the initial Japanese invasions, but as the Japanese, start to try and advance on places like Chongqing, which is very much a city in sort of a mountainous and valley and gorge sort of a terrain. I mean, it's kind of a nice little thing for the game to sort of show you. So our fighters are losing casualties without doing. I mean, they're shielding our warships at least, but let's see what happens. All right, so they finally knocked out that garrison unit in Gondar. I think Italian East Africa is kaput. Yep, they just took Abas or whatever. The only troops we have left are in Sudan now. And I guess they've got supply to Amaswia, however you pronounce that. But there's no troops there, so as soon as the Allies move troops over there, then that'll fall. So Ethiopia has fallen, and Italian Eritrea, if that's how you pronounce it, may well soon fall as well. May well soon as well fall. Alright, we need to drive north on Peking. Germany celebrates the conquest of Ethiopia. Italian morale suffers from the loss of Abbas. Allies liberate Abyssinia. Destroyers for Bases Agreement, HMS Lancaster is commissioned, so the British keep getting all these free destroyers from the United States, which makes the war on their commerce that much more difficult. We did have 2 U-boats, though, and interdict their commerce there, so we'll have to see how many industrial points of damage they did. Only 14. Intelligence reported. German advised to garrison the Soviet frontier. Occupation forces report increasing Yugoslavian resistance in the Alps. In order to assist our Italian allies in the Mediterranean, it's recommended, yes, we're going to send the Africa Corps. So now we get a bunch of free well, not really, we're paying for them over several turns. But you can see here we're building up the Africa Corps. We'll deploy those units later. Can we reinforce these guys right away? I want to get them to full strength. Okay. So what were the reports again? Or no, not that. I guess I'm not sure how to see the reports that say who plundered Yugoslavia, but somebody did. It looks like Italy based on the money. Alright, so this anti-tank unit's cut off. And shall be destroyed. So, I mean, the Italians are definitely doing better in North Africa than they historically did. They destroyed 1 British air unit, and they just destroyed an anti-tank unit as well. Meanwhile, the Africa Corps is about to arrive. So the main challenge is the 7th Armored Unit and then the British Army, located down here. Khartoum garrison only has 1 supply. They're still being a pain in our ass. They'll probably get liberated next turn. And then that does open up the British to send a bunch more troops against us. And now it's raining in the Mediterranean. Who would have thunk? Man, these Romanian troops are really good too. Are they mountain troops, maybe? We really need to finish off the damn Greeks. It's already January if... Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I have to put more troops on the Soviet-Polish border. Or the Soviet-German border as well. Should really try and see if we can get some additional should really see if we can try. Oh wait, what am I doing? If we can get some additional diplomatic actions with the what do you call them? With the Finnish government. All right, we're gonna set this guy to convoy raider. So he's gonna move over here. These guys are gonna move over here. All right, so we've got commerce raiding activities occurring. Okay. So we're sending our forces out in full force to absolutely ravage the British trade routes. Reinforce these guys. All right, I think I'm going to start bringing my fighters east, maybe, to deal with the Soviets, which I assume we'll be at war with in a couple of months. Okay. Amsterdam, Brussels, Lily, Luxembourg, Nancy. Where else? These guys are going to go to Cherbourg. These guys are going to go to Caen. These guys are going to go to Nantes, or Nates. Maybe someone in the south. Okay. Meanwhile, in Yugoslavia, you can see partisan activities occurring in these 3 hexes, and that's where we need to send our troops. So we've got 1 garrison unit there. Got 1 unit here already. I guess 1 unit here. Alright, so we'll start moving our troops toward the Soviet border. I know we haven't beaten Greece or Yugoslavia yet, but does this mean like there's collaborators, or does it just mean because we've got troops there or something that doesn't count? I don't know. All right. So hopefully we can take Yugoslavia, or hopefully we can take Greece next turn. Should also get the Africa Corps moving. They should arrive right around the time that the 7th Armor and the other British Army starts smashing us. Okay, let's move these guys back. Meanwhile, we need troops to move north. You can see here there's a lot of Chinese troops in the north. Gonna move my air forces in that direction as well. Can we just crush these guys once and for all? No, they can just keep indefinitely reinforcing themselves. Seems problematic from a game perspective. Alright, new units. Engine. Alright, so we just raised a bunch of new units there. A new carrier. Honestly, I wonder if we should start forming up for the attack on the U.S. Not quite yet, obviously, but at least getting ready for it. Making sure our fleet's all repaired and whatnot, and it's going to take probably about half a year to move the Navy into position if we do attack Pearl Harbor, which I don't know how the game treats that. I don't know if it gives you like a trigger where you can cripple the American fleet for some IP cost or what. The game mechanics I don't think would work very well for a surprise attack on like a port facility like that, so I'm not sure how that'll work. Alright, so we'll end the turn. We'll move forward into the middle of 1941. Intelligence reports that war with the Commonwealth and the United States may soon be unavoidable. It is urgently recommended that we prepare to not only deal with the U.S. Navy at Pearl Harbor, but also to invade and capture important installations in the East Indies. The expansion of hostilities, if decisive, will help protect our empire by securing our positions and resources in Southeast Asia. Again, it really is hitting home, this idea. In preparation for that war, you're going to get a bunch of new units in April. Special Philippine Expeditionary Force based out of Hiroshima will also be ready by July 1st. Alright, so the Greek Prime Minister is dead. Wow, that's a bunch of R&D all coming through at once. Alright. This we, or whatever it's called, just fell. Trying to retake fucking Peking. Hey, they didn't reinforce quite as heavily. Oh no, enemy destroyers! They knocked us off the supply routes. Alright, so the armor's gonna attack there. Really? They drove us back just like that, huh? Seems like these Chinese forces in the south are also just getting better and harder to kill. I don't know if they have new R&D that's making them better at combat. But in general, we don't have the same sort of advantages that we had over them originally, which I guess might be realistic. I don't know. Be interesting to see if we see a large general engagement against the Royal Navy here, as we've just deployed massive forces along their supply routes. East Africa surrenders. The UK gets 21 points. They also get the garrison unit. Partisan activity in China. So we're disrupting USA convoys, Egyptian convoys, and Australian convoys. The mud is rolling in. Alright, so... the British lost 16, 24, 27, 32 industrial points. Sun 1. Seattle. Charcoal, if you fund China, I'm going to have to demand retribution. I don't know what that retribution will be, but I demand it. I like how the turn I said, hey, we should probably get ready for the war with the US. The game's like, hey, you should probably get ready for the war with the US. Anyway. Could this be the turn we do it? Yes! Take that, rebels! Amoy is liberated, or reconquered, or whatever. Alright. Success. Now I guess these troops will be in place to go to invade Hong Kong when the moment comes. Like, why can't these guys advance up this damn roadway? Basically, it feels like the only reason I haven't beaten China is terrain. And while at one point it's kind of interesting that the game ties your hands in that way, on the other it's kind of like, all right, this feels a little bit cheap as a game mechanic. Okay. All right. Yay, collaborous Chinese, help me out. Like, really? You can't advance at all down there? Well, what the fuck's the point of even fighting them? Alright, back to Europe, I guess. Let's get astride these convoys. Fuck! Fuck! All right. feel like we've got quite a bit of troops there. Hey, good job, Italians. Glad that no one can bomb Athens because it's raining. Let's fly these troops to the frickin' Soviet border at this point. Athens is for sure falling next turn. I mean, I shouldn't say for sure, because I'm sure it'll come back and bite me in the ass, but I demand that Athens fall next turn. Okay. We're going to have to operate a lot of these guys. All right, let's transport these guys. What are they? The reconnaissance? So I think we can move these guys over here. Infantry's arrived. These guys can't transport till next turn. Spend a shit ton of money to move those guys. Okay, so the Africa Corps is starting to arrive in any event. Okay. All right. Can they retreat like north? No? They're kind of stuck down there? All right, well, we'll just keep them alive as long as we can. I think we already kind of... Did we do what we can in China this turn? Frickin' weather. Die, Chinese soldiers, die! Damn you for being so frickin' effective. I'm getting frustrated. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream off here. We're into February of 1941. We're rapidly approaching the expansion of this war. And I think, frankly, I just need a bit of a break. So, so far, the war had been going well until the last few turns. The war in the Mediterranean still going reasonably well. Greece should fall next turn. Yugoslavia has fallen. countries of Hungary and Bulgaria and Romania have all joined the Axis powers. We've started shifting our forces to the Russian border to prepare for the invasion of Russia, which is coming in the very near future, I think. So we're getting ready for that, as you can see here, and those are kind of the major developments thus far in this conflict here. As you can see, we're shifting troops east. Aircraft, for the most part, our Navy is out on the high seas, ravaging British commerce, so that's good. France is heavily garrisoned with a wide range of garrison units here throughout France. In North Africa, the Africa Corps is starting to arrive, so there's that. And I would rather just move you guys here because I don't want to get you guys caught at sea. So Rommel has now arrived in North Africa. But yeah, that's kind of currently the situation in the theater. The naval war is going oddly okay. I'm sure now that I'm saying that, the Allies will show up and just butcher our fleet. The Italians have lost a fair number of units, of hit points, not units. But I don't really see the British Mediterranean fleet anywhere to be found. It seems nowhere to be found. And I think all of our units will be pretty much ready to start preparing for the invasion of Russia here very soon. So next turn will be March. Maybe we'll be ready to begin the invasion in May. A month ahead of schedule, maybe. I'm not sure. We've already kind of got a standing front on the north. You can see here. I need to kind of figure out how I want some of my units positioned. From like, where do you want the heavy units, for example? Where do you want that really strong punch? But on the whole, I think we're getting pretty darn close to being ready for an invasion of the Soviet Union. We've almost filled the front in, and I know it's about more than just that. But we've got a pretty, at least a cohesive front, anyway. But yeah, that's kind of the situation right now. We're starting to shift troops out of the Balkans and toward the Russian front. And, next turn, I imagine we will, if not starting the invasion of Russia, then very soon. Meanwhile, in North Africa, again, the Africa Corps is arriving, and we're trying to punish the British as much as possible. They've got a lot of units there. They'll probably have more coming soon. So those are all things we have to deal with. But until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you once again for watching yet another stream of Strategic Command, World War II, World at War. And thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, I'm out.